Hey everyone, Sweet Johnny Cage here, back with another guide for Resident Evil Village. This time I'm going to show you where to find all 20 Goats of Warding throughout the game. These only have to be collected once and can be done on any number of playthroughs. You don't have to get them all at once. Once you hit them and they disappear, they're gone forever until I guess you delete all the data off your system. So, be warned that these appear all throughout the game, including at the very end of the game. I will put a massive spoiler warning before that final Goat of Warding, because it is quite a huge spoiler. So just be warned, you are going to see locations all over the game, but that final one will have a spoiler warning of its own. So with all that out of the way, let's get started. I'll be showing you these in the order in which they become available to you, so just keep that in mind. Some are missable, and I will cover those as we get to them. The very first Goat of Warding you can find is in the center of the village, in this little, I don't know, hutch. I don't know what you want to call this thing. Little shrine. So go ahead and either shoot it or take out your knife and hit it. And this should give you the Cynic trophy if this is your first one. Next, on the roof of the church, there is a goat that is kind of hard to see, especially early on. The time of day changed for me because I found this later. But just on the roof of this church is another goat. Let's go ahead and shoot that. Next up, along the Fallow plot, just past the church near Louise's house, there's a goat on this wall here. Go ahead and get rid of that. Next up, after you make it out of the castle for the first time, into the Vineyard, this goat can be found on this little northern ledge. This one is missable. Once you enter the castle again, you're completely locked off this area. Inside the castle, once you make it down to the Distillery, you can find this goat waiting for you on the floor. Very easy to find. Next, in the attic, you will find this goat just behind the ladder on a little trunk. So go ahead and shoot that. And keep in mind that this is the final goat in the castle, so if you miss any, go back for them now, because after you leave the castle, you will not be able to come back. Alright, once you're out of the castle, near the drawbridge area, sort of near the altar, there is a goat in this little alcove here on the ground floor. Let's go ahead and hit that. Now we're going to start making our way through the village. So in West Old Town, just near the house with the violin emblem on the door, there is a little shed outside of that house, and then there's a goat on the roof of the shed. Let's go ahead and shoot that. Also, in the church graveyard, now that you have the iron insignia key, you can get in here, and the goat is on the ground in the right corner. Next, once you start making your way to House Beneviento, you'll come across some rickety rope bridges, and a goat is on the left bridge in the distance. Outside of House Beneviento, to the left, you will find this goat behind the gate. Keep in mind, this is missable, because once you complete this area, you cannot come back up here. So keep that in mind. Next, in the Reservoir area, once you make it to the first windmill, you can find this goat beneath a pile of logs just on the outside perimeter of the windmill. Next, this one is really evil. When you are dealing with Moreau in his fish form as he's swimming all around the reservoir, after you push your first minecart into the water, you want to take out your sniper rifle and look to the left, and you'll find this goat on this pillar here. This one is very missable. Next up, once the reservoir is drained after you defeated Moreau, you want to head back to the house where you first got the boat, and then walk into the now dried out swamp through the windmill, and you'll find a goat to the left, just outside the broken windmill. Keep in mind, once you leave the reservoir area and go back to the village, you can never come back. The elevator will stop working for some weird, mysterious reason, so make sure you get that goat once the reservoir is drained. You will not be able to come back here. Next up, as you're making your way towards the Stronghold, you'll find another building, sort of like a butcher area, to the left. You want to walk up the river near Otto's mill, and then just underneath the building, you'll find a goat in a shrine. Next up, just before the boss of the Stronghold, you'll come to this circular room. It's the room before the save room, so if you need, you can shimmy back through the wall to get back to this room, but you'll find the goat on this ledge. This is right after you get through the big gauntlet of enemies inside the Stronghold. Alright, next up, in the factory, unfortunately my map stopped working here for some weird reason, but in the wind tunnel, after you destroy the fan, you want to turn around and walk all the way back to the other end of the room, and you'll find this goat on the piece of machinery here. Alright, so this next one is pretty evil, but you want to take the elevator to floor B3, exit the elevator, and look up the elevator shaft, and you'll find this goat on a piece of steel here. The way you're really supposed to get this, or I think that they're at least showing it to you, is that if you take the elevator up and look closely, you can see that goat sort of fly by, but I never noticed it that way. I noticed it the other way. All right, so the final goat in the factory. This is just after you defeat the boss with the giant propeller head. In the next room, you'll find this sort of hard-to-see ventilation shaft, and then you want to take this to a different sort of cubby room, and then there's some items in here, along with the final goat of the factory. After this is a major spoiler warning. This is the final area of the game I'm about to show you, and I'm going to cut out any dialogue and any identifying marks here, but just beware, this is the final area. Okay, so once you get the Root of the Matter trophy, and you come out of the cutscene, you want to just turn to the right, and then you'll see this little pond here that has a statue on the far end of it, and just at the base of that statue is the final goat. So go ahead and shoot that, and if you followed along as you've been playing, that'll be your 20th, and you'll get the Heretic trophy. If not, you'll have to go back and play through. You can do it on another save file, doesn't matter. The goats are sort of shoot-once enemies. Once you destroy them once, you never have to do them again, even on subsequent playthroughs or even brand new playthroughs. The data is, I guess, like hard saved to your console or something, so if you delete all the data off your console, then yeah, you'll have to get them again, but otherwise you won't. Okay, so that's it. The missable ones are kind of frustrating, especially since you can't get back into the castle. I was surprised by that. And I was also very surprised that after you take the elevator out of the reservoir, you can literally never go back. I don't get that. But that's just the way it is. So if you missed any, go ahead and replay the game. Resident Evil games are meant to be replayed, especially on higher difficulties. But if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment. I'll do my best to help you out. If you're looking for more guides for Resident Evil Village, please subscribe to the channel so you get alerted when new guides go live. If you're interested in supporting the channel monetarily, please consider becoming a channel member by clicking the blue join button below this video. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and on Twitch, and as always, I'll be Johnny Cage. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.